Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out. The Ducks are Pac-12 Tournament champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
One, but two hosts here today in the Country Financial Studio. Knight Uretsky with Jerry Allen, the voice of the Ducks. We are here today breaking down everything Oregon athletics and filling in for Joey Mackin. Jerry, great news today for Joey.
Yeah, he has 2 children in the house now.
Yeah.
And 12 dogs and 14 cats. I don't know about that part of it. But, yeah, new baby Joey, Lizzie doing well. How exciting for him. So he is resting comfortably because it's tough when you're a father having a baby. It really is.
Yeah, you have that experience
Oh,
yourself.
Oh boy, some tough moments. My wife participated too, but you know it's one day you'll understand. You'll get it.
Yep.
Right now, my wife, waiting for me to get home, she's gonna knock me alongside the head. Don't talk about it like that. But congratulations to Joey and to Lizzie and new little Joey, and I'm sure we'll get some pictures soon.
Yeah, hopefully. And congratulations, Joey. Happy to be filling
Wow.
in. And, just to have me and Jerry up here, it's a fun Friday show.
Yeah.
2 hosts in one day.
I'm here, by the way, for the looks. He's got all the information. I'm here just for the looks.
Yeah, we got a great show. We're going to break down Oregon baseball. They just wrapped up the Pac-12 baseball tournament. Then Matt Ulmer came in earlier this week. Him and Joey sat down, and they had a long conversation, about 30 minutes between Matt Ulmer and Joey Mack. So we're going to have the entirety of that. 3 segments with Matt Ulmer and Joey Mack, and then we're going to have some track and field talk at the very end. Overall, a very packed Friday afternoon show, but happy to be with you here in the Country Financial Studio. So let's talk Oregon baseball. And, yesterday it was just a tough loss for the Ducks. It was a 4-2 loss against USC right after a 4-2 loss against Utah. And I think if you think about the season for Oregon baseball, it's been great. There's been 8 out of 10 weekends where the Ducks came away victorious in the Pac-12 series. And, this is a team that, yes, they lost in the Pac-12 tournament. Yes, there was talks about them going into the Pac-12 tournament, potentially winning and then hosting a regional. But, this is a team that should be celebrated.
Yeah, they should be celebrated. I mean, for me, I'm thinking for the Pac-12 and for the baseball selection committee, you got to be looking at the Pac-12 night and saying, you know what, this is the last year for the Pac-12. We're going to make sure that they get some representation, and they've earned it. Oregon was in the discussion to maybe host going into that Pac-12 tournament, and you do lose 2 games right away, but if you're in discussion to maybe host, you lose a couple of ball games, you're still maybe on the outside of that discussion, but you certainly have got to be in the tournament. So there should be no doubt in my mind at all.
I certainly think so. And right now where the Ducks find themselves, if you look at the grand scheme of things, they've been ranked in 4 of the 5 national polls. They are number 20 in the Baseball America poll, 23 in the D1 Baseball poll, 22 in the NCBWA poll, and then 23 in the USA Today poll. The only poll they were not featured in was the Perfect Game poll. But again, they've won 8 out of their 10 series in the Pac-12 play. Yes, they dropped 2 close ones in the Pac-12 tournament, but this is a team right now that's, they have a little bit lower of an RPI that you'd expect, right at 50.
Yeah, you'd like it to be a little, above that and give you a little bit of a cushion. But I really think the selection committee, and I've seen this through the years, they know coaches, they know teams, they know programs, and that carries weight. So I think the respect for a program and a coach like Mark Wasikowski speaks volumes for itself. There are a lot of teams, a lot of programs that are on the edge of getting in or not, and a lot of discussion or decisions are made on knowing the resume, not just on this year, but the history of that coach and that program. Oregon's got a good resume and a good history. WAS certainly does. So I think that'll carry weight. I feel really good about it. Even though they're near that 50 mark, they're still one of the best programs in the nation, and that should be recognized.
And certainly, and I think the weird thing about baseball RPI is that it just seems so off. Some teams are a lot higher than you expected, some teams a lot lower, and Oregon at 50, I don't know. It just feels a little bit lower than you would think. This is a team that's 37-18 this season, 19-11 in Pac-12 play. They finished number 3 in the regular season in the Pac-12. I mean, this is a very good team. This is a very deep team as well. Oregon, just one of 8 teams nationally entering this weekend with 11 players that have 20-plus RBIs. I mean, there's a lot of contributors on this Oregon team, and I mean, you got to think that they're going to make the tournament. You just got to wait. Oregon's in this boat right now. They're going to be waiting. The selection show is going to be happening on Monday at 9 a.m. ESPN2. That's where we'll find out the entire NCAA Regional field. Last year, the Ducks, they didn't think they were going to host. And you know what happened? They went to Vanderbilt, won the regional, and then all of a sudden, everything fell their way. They got to host a super regional, and man, PK Park was electric. Were you there for that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it is. I mean, it's like you're right there. You're on the field. The fans really get into it in baseball, too. Well, they do in all sports, particularly volleyball, but it's that atmosphere. And that's another part of, I think, what the NCAA looks at in the selection committee. What do you have for a facility? What's your fan base like? There's some history there with Oregon and what they've done in the past, and that will weigh into that decision.
Absolutely. And, it's funny. This past week, I was down in Oklahoma. Aaron Wasson, he's submitting the bid to potentially host, and he's walking me through the entire thing. This is how many fans we can hold. This is how much revenue we brought in last year. This is how much revenue that we can bring in this year. I mean, that's a long process, and I think Oregon certainly has a case that they could potentially host for a super regional. Obviously, if they probably would have won the tournament this week, I think they're probably in, and they're hosting, but sometimes baseball is like that. It doesn't go your way, but there's always a chance to respond. They went up against really good pitching. I think that was the big thing, and they fought hard all the way to the very end. Yesterday, they had the tying run at the plate in the 9th inning and just couldn't get it done. But they faced off against the Pac-12 pitcher of the year from Utah, and then USC, their starting pitcher. He's getting a lot of draft buzz right now. And so I think that this is a weekend that Oregon can take a lot of what they've learned from these pitchers and, just try to move forward to the postseason and be resilient and bounce back.
Yeah, I think those two pitchers, too, and those two games when the committee looks at who Oregon lost to and the way they lost to two of the premier pitchers, not just in the Pac-12, but two recognized in the nation, that weighs into that. There are so many more things. I mean, it used to be your record. Whatever your record was, who your coach was. I mean, there was that good old buddy program at one point. Now they really dissect it a whole lot more. The analytics of baseball and the selection committee are a lot better than they were. I go back to the BCS era of football and some of the things that were done there. They get it right now. They do get it right.
Now, Jerry, for you, I mean, you've been watching baseball this entire spring, not broadcasting it, but, just getting to be more of a fan and getting to watch the whole season unfold. What are your thoughts on this team and just kind of where do you think this team can succeed heading into the postseason?
Well, I like all aspects of this team because in some past years, and George Horton, I love George Horton. I mean, he's one of my best friends, one of my best coaches. But George played small ball, so you're talking about usually lower scoring games, not a lot of power, not a lot of hitting. You're going to go base running. Your pitching was strong, and you wanted to keep the score low. Oregon baseball now is a lot more wide open. Waz has got a team built it that can hit the ball. They got some power. They're very good defensively. They've had some issues pitching-wise as far as having depth with some injuries to start the season, but I think they overcame that. So I think this is more of a complete team now than it was in the first third of the season. So I think given a chance, I know they were against two great pitchers in that Pac-12 tournament, but I think they're a team right now, but given a chance, will be able to make some headway in a tournament.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the small ball that Horton kind of used. Oregon kind of used that this past week. You think about Carter Garati in game number 1. He walked his way aboard, then was able to advance to second on a pass ball, and then he goes to third on a failed pickoff attempt, and then he comes in to score on a wild pitch. I mean, that is as small ball as it gets,
yes,
and Oregon's able to score that way, and that's what they've done all season long. The pitching, I think it's certainly improved. I mean, Brock Moore got his first start during the Pac-12 tournament, and he had 7 strikeouts over 4 innings. I mean, that's really good numbers. I thought R.J. Gordon pitched really good in game number 2, 5 scoreless, and then the 6, just a wind-aided home run, kind of got over the fence for USC. And, sometimes that's just how it falls, but I think this is a team that's riding a lot of momentum, and certainly I think they should make the tournament. I think that's kind of where we're at They've been ranked in the top 25 of 4 of the 5 national polls. Yes, the RPI is a little bit low, but I think this is a team that has the depth to really make a difference heading into the postseason. Again, the Ducks, they're waiting their feet. It's going to be 9 a.m. ESPN2 on Monday, and that's where we'll find out the entire NCAA Regional field. The Pac-12 Tournament rolls on throughout the weekend, but the Ducks, they're done, and they're heading back to Eugene, trying to get some rest and to regroup. Jerry, any last thoughts?
No, I just, again, looking at the committee, they'll look at those games, little glitches. You didn't get blown out. You didn't get embarrassed in the tournament, all right? Against Utah, late innings, a couple of glitches, walks, base on balls, difference in the ball game with a hit after that. And then, of course, a wind-aided home run, it happened. So the tournament committee's going to look at those and go, this is a team that didn't get blown out. This is a good baseball team. Let's see where they end up. I still feel good about it.
Absolutely. So, again, Monday 9 a.m., ESPN2, and we'll wait and see where the Ducks are going. Who knows? They went to Vanderbilt last year, and a lot of people counted the Ducks out. They won, and they got to host a Super Regional, trying to make it to the College World Series for the first time since restarting the program. Going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll have that first part of that conversation with Matt Ulmer as well as Joey Mack, the two of them chatting here in the Country Financial Studio. We'll be right back after this here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas.
Congratulations on getting your diploma.
You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, Nat Uretsky, Jerry Allen with you here on this Friday. Fun show so far. We just talked some baseball, and moving forward, we're going to talk with Matt Ulmer and Joey Mack. The two of them sat down earlier this week, talked for over 30 minutes. And I just got to say, Matt Ulmer, one of my favorite people in the Oregon Athletic Department. I've gotten to broadcast Oregon volleyball these past 2 years, and Matt, I still haven't forgotten. You owe me trail mix. I'm waiting. I'm in studio. I'll be here all next week. Matt, if you're watching, I'm here. I'm ready for the trail mix.
Yeah, you delivered. I mean, he got his. I mean, so he does owe you.
Exactly.
Funyuns?
Funyuns, yeah.
Funyuns.
So earlier this year, this was all the way back in around September, right before Oregon went down to the Big Ten Pac-12 Challenge down at Stanford. And we are having Matt Ulmer on the show. Joey was talking to him about his favorite travel snack. And he asked me what my favorite travel snack was, which I said was trail mix, and he said his was Funyuns. So, being a good broadcaster and, just trying to build that relationship, I bought a bag of Funyuns, brought it to Coach. He ate it all. He said he finished it before he got back onto the plane the next day.
Very healthy.
Yeah, very healthy. Yeah. But, he finished it, and he said, Knight, I owe you trail mix.
Oh.
He still hasn't gotten me the trail mix. I'm ready for it. Anyways, I don't think they're talking trail mix on this interview, but let's go ahead and get to the interview. Joey Mack with head coach Matt Ulmer.
Let's get something out of the way before we even start. We're recording this on a Tuesday. Coach Ulmer just watched the Oregon women's golf team advance out of the quarterfinals.
Let's go!
Come on. He was fired up about it. And Coach goes, the only reason I'm here is because you need me and you need time.
Wow,
Coach,
he's doing it.
I'm here to tell you
that's true.
We always want you to come on the show.
Sure.
That's why I asked you to record. However, I fully admit that when I called you and you told me that you and your team were up at the Nike campus, I fully admit that was out of necessity because if my wife had gone into labor that day, we had no backup for Duck Insider. And I wanted you to host the show.
I'm here for you.
I thought you would have been great hosting the show.
Thave you. Thanks.
I really thought you
would
have
been something. Hey,
show.
Nice to see you.
Great to see you, buddy.
Wow.
You good?
Thanks for having me.
Hey, did you want to be here?
This is an honor. Really is what it is.
Did you want to be here today?
Of course.
Oh, wow.
Of course I want to
Wow.
be. What else would I rather do?
Oh, you just came from practice?
Yep, that was great.
Your last
nice
week?
practice. Just saw the Ducks win.
Hey,
taking down LSU. That was awesome.
Win, Ducks, win.
I can't wait to see what they do next.
Yeah. And you'll
great.
know by the time this airs.
That's true.
So, hey, thanks for being a team player. I'm glad that fans get a chance to hear from you. I want fans to hear from you.
They've been asking when I'm coming on.
Have they?
Yes, millions of emails.
Please tell me more.
Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah. And here I am.
Wow.
So it's good.
Volleyball season. Volleyball.
That's right.
Yeah. So what's been going on? What have you been up to?
Well, a lot of practice.
Yeah.
A lot of volleyball. Had a good winter, a good spring. Just such a very different group than what we've had the last couple of years. So, but what an exciting group with so much growth potential and opportunity. And we've played a handful of matches here for the spring, and we have one more left on Thursday against our alumni, and it's like a whole pro alumni group. So that'll be really fun to see how we measure up against them. But it's been a really important few months for us, and I'm proud of our group.
To put that in context, like to review, you had such an experienced group, but a lot of student athletes that got to practice with that. Have you started to see that pay off here at this time of year?
Big time. I mean, you just get thrown into that fire.
Right.
When you're surrounded by, we had 5 23-year-olds and 2 22-year-olds.
Experience.
On one side. It's a lot of experience. And so I think that what that did for them is it showed them what good volleyball looks like right away. And so here's what's going to work, here's what's not going to work. And that's just reinforced time and time again. And so, I think a lot of the ideas that they've been trying to do are starting to come together. And, I'm really excited to see what fall looks like.
We've talked before about how, you kind of adapt based on your team. Every team's a little bit different, but there's sort of a blueprint. I don't know. Like as a coach, how much does your blueprint shift from year to year based on your personnel and experience level, maybe for that matter?
Yeah, I think there's like some different things tactically you might want to do based upon who you have. Just like the strengths or the weaknesses of a player that you have on the court, and so how you're going to adapt with that. But I think for the most part, like you need to control the ball.
Yeah.
So you're trying to teach each player how to control the ball in their position. You're trying to teach them all the different shots or different ideas of how to score on offense. That kind of stuff. And once they have that skill set and those ideas, then you're trying to just put them out there in the right, in the right design of how it's all going to work together. So.
It's very easy, I think, for like me and for fans to just go, from the end of one season to the beginning of another, and you see the differences and you see what's changed. But you get a chance to watch the development, the off-season conditioning, these spring practices. What are your check marks for student athletes? Do you have some during an off-season of you want to hit certain milestones during an off-season for, I don't know, mentally, conditionally, everything?
Yeah, I don't know if we necessarily have here's what we want them to do in the weight room, things like that.
Probably more individual.
I would say it's more just growth, right? We just want steady growth. Hopefully they're all touching their best at the end or lifting their most at the end, that kind of thing. We're not going backwards, which we're continually pushing forward, so that's great. Coach Rad is the best, so he's got him doing great things there.
He's done a few.
He's a little bit of experience.
Right.
And then his head will get big, so we can't do too much, And then from a volleyball perspective, it really ebbs and flows, So I feel like we have this great week of learning, and then we kind of plateau a little bit, and then you got to push that back. And right now we're at a really good growth stage. It's at the end, so you can see that they're perked back up again. And it's been good to have competitions. We played Washington and Oregon State, Portland State, Corbin. We played a professional Chinese team that came in. That was really cool. And then again to have the alumni. So kind of all over the map. But it's been great to do that, just to get us used to what competition's like in front of fans, in front of people, and then just how to play better as a group.
That feels like such a unique opportunity, playing against the international team.
Oh,
I know you've done that before, I believe, right?
I don't think we've had that here. Well, I mean, when we went,
we
went overseas. We played in Europe, but to have a team come here, so it was
so how'd that happen? Take
pro
us through
team from Tianjin. So I guess Tianjin, China, it's like a sister state to Oregon.
Huh?
Didn't know that. So they wanted to come do a foreign tour, this pro team, and they wanted to come to the West Coast, but they wanted to start in Oregon because of this.
Cool.
So we learned a lot on the trip, which was really neat. And then we scrimmaged in the morning and then showed them around campus, and they were wowed, by our facilities and by campus and just by how great everybody is. So it was really a nice deal, and we played well against them. We held our own.
Good.
So that was a good start to our spring.
Yeah, and then matching up, as you mentioned, with some other familiar foes.
Yeah.
I guess I'll put it that way. Good evaluation point, I'd bet.
Yeah, we had good success. Obviously, you're seeing a lot of things that we need to continue to get better at, which I really appreciate. But also just giving them a taste of competition, because a lot of our players, like you said, didn't get to compete much. So you have Daly and Mimi are the only two that competed in the fall for us. That's it.
Right.
And we have some the Onis of the worlds and Michelle's, like they've played a ton of college volleyball, but not at Oregon.
Right.
So even just them, just getting touches. Noemi had some touches, just not a ton. So it's gonna be a lot of new faces out there. But it's an exciting group.
Daly McClellan, Mimi Collier. If we could break down the roster a little bit, I imagine they've emerged as leaders just with the experience.
They look really confident. Yeah, they're playing the best volleyball that they've played. Daly's doing a great job. And she's the senior.
Yep.
The
senior.
The senior. Colby's been here 4 years also, but Colby has a red shirt, Colby Neal.
Right.
And then she was coming back from a surgery, so we hadn't had her out there. She just got back this past week, so just having another experienced voice has been nice.
Cool.
Just the last few days. And Mimi's, just trying to become that more complete all-around player where, we've really used her offense, not as much in the serve receive game, but she's really grown a lot in that area, and we're going to need that. So I'm proud of her for fighting through a lot of different changes there.
Well, and shoot, I mean, you the amateur here, you just look at the stat sheet, you probably circle that name, and go, she could hurt you if you're an opposing coach, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, she's in the best shape she's ever been in. She's hitting better than she's ever. She's playing her best volleyball, but it's just adding so much more to her game that's going to help her become a great pro. And then you got Oni. Oni, I can't wait for our fans to watch Oni play. She is unbelievably special.
Well, first of all, she's our favorite because of her costume choices.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she holds no punches with me.
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
good.
Yeah.
See, so anyone who wants so let's just put it this way: we always try to do a mic'd up at volleyball practice. Yep. It's going to be great to put a mic on her instead of you next year.
Oh, she'll be entertaining.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
You need to do that.
Is she the most similar to you in personality on the team?
Ooh.
That's a tough question, I know.
I don't know.
But she throws it right back at you. That's why I love her.
Probably Chris Klein.
Okay.
Is probably the most like me. But Oni she'll give it.
So how about the two of them together? Who wins?
Yeah, they're pretty funny together.
Good.
Yeah, they'll go back and forth.
Do they think you're funny?
No, but they laugh.
Okay, good.
Right. I know it's good when I actually get them off because they don't want to.
Right. They really
so it's so if they do laugh, I'm like, okay, that was
satisfaction.
They don't want to give me any of that. They don't, which is fine. I can work for it.
Yeah.
So that's part 1 of 3 between Joey Mack and Matt Ulmer. Jerry, what do you think? Best hair in the athletic department, Matt Ulmer?
Not only that, but I think he can be a stand-up comedian. Give him a microphone, put him on stage. I mean, he is just personable, and obviously a great coach.
Absolutely. I think he could have done a great job hosting the show, as an emergency situation.
I think that's still an opportunity that will come along. I mean, we could all pretend to be deathly ill, and he gets the call, and he can't say no.
Yeah,
we need to set that up.
We should set that up, have him get here, and then at like 59, we all walk in and just like have him like shocked. Yeah, I think we ought to do that.
All right, I'm down with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, more of that conversation coming up next. Matt Ulmer and Joey Mack here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Now you're asking with Jerry Allen here in the Country Financial Studio. Joey Mack talked with Matt Ulmer earlier this week, and we'll have part number 2 of the interview right now.
That experience, though, I mean, you touched on a couple that you have now that fans are going to get to know really here over the next few years.
Yeah, so Michelle Owabeti, who come from Santa Barbara, she's been a great player for Santa Barbara. You know, she'll do great for us. And Sophie Gregoire, who played on the beach. So if you watch the beach team, she got out there. And then Noemi Glover, who got a little bit of time last year. But the two of them, I mean, they can do some amazing things. So I'm excited for everybody to see them. And then we got a few more transfers coming in and a couple new freshmen. So, no, there'll be a lot of new looks. But, again, just the ceiling is really high with this group.
Nice.
So if we can control the ball well enough, then we'll be okay.
That's usually a key for you.
It is.
Yeah.
We've just had a lot of that the last few years. We've been a really great ball control team.
Yeah.
So now we just don't have as much experience in those areas. Yeah. So now we'll have to really grow through that.
You know, now that a couple things, I guess, like we're coming up toward the end of the COVID roster influence era. How much has you're nodding and kind of smiling, like how much has that changed volleyball the last few years? How much is it gonna maybe is change the right word, or is it like revert back to pre-2020 type of rosters?
I think every team had to go through when you go back to like normal. And so for us, we just lost 7.
Right, that's what I mean.
Right?
Like
and all 7
players,
of them signed pro contracts, right? So you're 7 for 7 on like this is how good this group is, right?
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. But yeah, so now all of a sudden you're just not going to be that you'll never be that old again.
Yeah,
it's never going to happen unless something crazy happens, which we hope doesn't. So
I mean, it could. Who's to know?
Yeah, so I actually think now, that's a good point. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know.
Anyway,
but that's another. But I actually think we're pretty balanced now age-wise. We'll actually be across the board. Like we'll have kind of everything.
25, 25, 25, 25.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, like the closest we've probably ever been.
Wow.
So, but that feels like really young, but it's not.
Right.
So we'll have a good mix, and I think that's shifted more towards like normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the transfer portal, I mean, it's still influencing every sport.
Yeah.
Yours in particular.
Well, because this is one more year of COVID, like that extra year.
Right.
Now, one more year from now, I think it'll be pretty minimal.
Yeah. It's amazing how much like I've thought about even looking at things like record books. Like you're going to go back and see some records that are probably like career records during this era all across all of college athletics. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's sort of an era.
I think but I feel like if you do that in record books, there's always different times where you could splice it up.
No doubt.
Because
before
eras. Like the old rules, they played so many more matches than we played. They would still play more matches than our kids that played 5 years.
That's a good point.
So and then they didn't play rally scoring.
Right.
So like that match could go on for 4 hours.
In your sport, the rally scoring change is
huge.
That's the most significant change in the sport, right?
Massive. Yeah. So as far as like looking at stats, like you could have 1 million rallies.
Yeah.
So you could have 40 kills in a match pretty easy. Like now that's really hard to do.
Well, I mean, unless you play like the longest postseason match ever like you did a couple years ago.
That's true.
You could just do that every time.
No. That was a lot.
That gave you gray hair, didn't it?
Yeah, I didn't have any before that match.
See? I'm telling you. God, that feels like that wasn't.
And we won, so imagine if we lost. Like it would have been over.
It wasn't that long ago, but that does feel like it kind of puts in perspective.
2018.
Like, yeah, like
but that's kind of a long ago.
I guess, but like
6 years.
It doesn't seem like it was. You know what I mean? Like
that just means you're getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, though, I think it speaks to where that's become so consistent for your program, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask you. Like, how have you done that? Like how have you been able to maintain throughout all the changes and roster management, everything else? Your program's been so consistent getting there for the most part. I mean, that's a big deal.
It's just about getting the right people here. I think our staff has done a good job of just pouring in on the student athletes, and they've responded to that, and then they've fought every day. Like we have a group that goes in and they work hard every day. Like you never have to ask them to do some of that. Like maybe sometimes you have to tug at them to do a little bit extra. But for the most part, like they're going to they're getting extra reps. Like they're the one dragging me in the gym to do stuff, And I think that's been pretty consistent. The desire that they have beyond Oregon, I think, is a really big deal. Yeah. Again, we made light of it, but I mean, 7 pros in a class, like that's
significant.
And I think it's super important. And we have our banquet come up this week that I want to talk about, but like that group went 9-20 their freshman year. That was after that 2018 team, right? Like they had significant struggle that first year. And I think what is different about our program maybe than others, it sure feels like, is that they didn't leave and they worked through the hard time, and that's what helped them grow. And I feel like that's getting harder and harder with this day.
Yeah, the transfer portal,
is to go through the hard time, get through it, learn from it, and then grow. And I think, again, like all of our All-Americans, all of our pro players, like they all had a really tough stretch at some point where probably they thought about quitting or leaving or whatever that was for them, but they all went through something. Yeah. Name them. I could give you something, I mean, Brooke Nuneviller was a libero, and then she was not a great outside. And then she was the best one. It's like, it's like everybody went through something, and then here she was just winning the first championship, in the pro league as their team captain.
Right.
So it's like there's a bunch of stories like that, and that just tells you about the people that we've had.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as a staff, we've allowed them to be the people that they've become.
You touched a bit, and you and I have talked about this before, that in this era you do see so many more departures than your program has had. And we talked once before about how you've had more red shirts than others around the conference and the country. This group that you just alluded to, how much do you discuss that with potential student athletes? Like, hey, this is an example of if you kind of have that development time, that it can really pay off for you down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, we've had players that they wish they would have redshirted,
and then,
then the opposite. We've had players that have left through a redshirt. But I really think that redshirt time, it's like you'll figure out if this is the place for you or not.
That's true.
So if you can get through that, then you'll be there. And I think we were probably 50-50 this year. Yeah. Kids that left that redshirted or kids that stayed the redshirted. But the ones that stayed, it's like this is going to work for them.
Yeah.
And they're going to be the next group that'll be the All-American, that'll be the pro player, et cetera, if that's what they want to do.
That's cool.
So I think it's good to learn early, and then if not, they didn't burn that year, they can go somewhere else, and then they can have their career, and hopefully they figure it out there.
Nice. Talking volleyball with head coach Matt Ulmer. Banquet this week.
Yeah. We have 6 of the 7. Kara McGee can't come back, but we have the other 6 that graduated will be here. We get an honor. It's a huge group that has done so much for the program.
Cool.
So that'll be really neat and get their families around them. And then we have 6 other alum that are coming that'll be a part of the match. Ronica Stone, Lindsay Vanderweide, Lauren Page, Willow Johnson, Casey Nadine, Abby Hansen. With the 6 that we just had. So that's quite the alumni team.
I was going to say,
it's a stacked group.
Boy.
It's a stacked group.
So are you going to still do anything with the alumni in August, or are you moving it to this time of year?
It's been hard it's really hard because of all the pro leagues.
Yeah, they're all
find
playing.
Anytime.
Right?
Yeah, so in August, a lot of them are already gone.
Yeah.
And then this was the only week that we had because the PVF season where we had 10 or 11 players in that league, they just finished this past weekend.
Yeah.
The championship was on Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
So, I mean, it just ended. And then this is our last week of spring. So, this was the only week to kind of cram everything in.
Wow.
So I apologize to fans. We're not able to do it as much in person because we're redoing the floor at the arena. So we just don't have the facility for it. Probably should have done it somewhere else in hindsight. But
that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That's a lot.
It's neat, though.
Yeah. Neat. Don't tell anybody about what the floor is going to look like. No one knows yet.
It's a picture of Joey.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Everybody was complaining about the trees. Just wait.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I could. If it's a picture of Joey, I'd never go to another game. I understand. I haven't seen it yet. I was going to sneak in and look, but I haven't done that yet.
Yeah? Oh, I really am curious to see what it is. You get the inside scoop.
I kind of have an idea what I think it might be, but I'm not going to go there. Not going to go. No, can't even. No.
I'm sure it'll be a treat.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
And I think people will really enjoy it. I think they're going to go, all right. Great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Speaking of treats, I mean, we've been talking about
you're making me hungry. I'm learning about this new, it's not even new. It's new to me. Poutine?
Poutine, yes.
Okay, got poutine.
Oh, yeah, we got the photo.
Oh, look
Love
at that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So some of you guys may know, I'm half Canadian. My mom's from Canada, and we were talking about poutine, traditional Canadian dish. And Jerry had never heard of poutine. So we've got
show of hands, how many have heard of poutine?
Yeah,
I mean,
see, everybody in the studio but you, Jerry. And you'd think, because you're such a foodie, you would love poutine.
I don't care what it's called. I just eat it. That's why I didn't know what it was. I probably eat it and didn't know.
Exactly. Anyway, so next week, I'm going to come into studio. I'm going to buy some poutine, and me and Jerry are going to have poutine on this desk.
And we need to learn the history of it, too. You can fill us.
We'll do like a whole research process.
Right.
The little bit that we did know, at least learn during this segment, researching poutine, a Quebec slang word for mess, which is exactly what it is. I mean, it is French fries, cheese curd, and gravy. It's a mess of a dish, but it is so delicious, and you'll have to tune in next week for Jerry and I to try some of that. Another time out, Matt Ulmer and Joey Mack, part number 3 when we come back here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can make the most out of summer with all your friends. Most of my friends happen to be four-legged.
Your summer starts here, but it all ends June 3rd. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Too much fun on a Friday show, Nat Uretsky with Jerry Allen. All we're missing is Jorgie, right?
Yeah, we might be able to arrange that next week.
Ooh, maybe.
That's a great idea.
Next Friday, we could bring Jorgie in here. It would just be me, you, him. Joey would just be at home. Fun times.
We could Joey to call in with the baby crying in the background.
Oh, yeah, we do. We could get the Zoom. We could have a 4-person show.
Yeah.
That would be really fun.
Here we go.
We have ideas. Okay. Fun stuff. Great week ahead. But continuing with that conversation, Matt Ulmer with Joey Mack earlier this week, part number 3.
It could be your face.
Like the sock.
Yep. They're coming back.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not coming back. They better not duck store.
Ooh, boy.
That's good.
Yep.
That's how you drive people away,
It was like the most popular promotion that you did, by the way. If you don't remember, we made socks with Coach Ulmer's face on them. It was great. It was great.
It was not the worst. I thought it was going to be a bad picture. So
it was good.
I appreciate
it was
that
like a good headshot.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, the hair was on point that day.
Come on. That
Always.
day?
Right, yeah. Okay.
I even have this on right now.
Does your hair look bad before a shower? Like
compared
right out
to
of
what?
bed? Oh, God. This is Matt Ulmer, everybody, the Oregon volleyball head coach.
I just love that you miss me.
Oh, I did.
Thanks.
It's great. Hey, Pro Ducks, though, in all seriousness.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's a huge, well, a couple things.
16 current professional Ducks. 16.
Which is amazing, and it used to be that they were all overseas.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing the growth of the sport here in the U.S. How big is that just for volleyball, the sport?
It's, for example, like Gloria had a great year in Germany. Lauren had a great year in Portugal. Willow was awesome in Korea. I go down the list. Like Kara and Taylor Borup, they were in Puerto Rico, and it's like, you just don't see it.
Right.
So
it's hard
like
to find.
They're doing great things, and it's like you just don't know what's happening. So the fact that we had the players that played here, it's like it's so visible.
Yep.
And you can find them, and their friends and their family are able to see them all the time. We're able to go to games. I took my daughter to a game for her 9th birthday down to San Diego, and we watched them play Gabby on the Vegas team.
And how great was that even for
amazing
for your family?
It's amazing, And then Taiba's the coach of the San Diego team, so she's cheering on. She got Coach of the Year this year in it. Georgia led the whole league in digs. Veronica led the league in hitting percentage. Brooke was on the first team. Veronica was on the second team, and then Lindsay and Willow and missing one more were Player of the Week.
Yeah.
They had a great year. It
Pretty
was just
sweet.
so fun to watch. Yeah.
It's really cool. And here's hoping that those leagues just continue to grow. I mean, it's such a fun sport. I feel like it's the kind of sport, and you and I have said this before, like you get somebody, especially to an Oregon volleyball match, they're in.
Yeah. The key is get them in the building.
Right.
Yeah. Then it sells itself.
That's why we need more promotions with your face on them.
On things.
Yep. Hey, speaking of that.
Perfect.
Speaking of that.
I always will sing too.
So there's been a
monkey will dance.
There's been a couple questions asked over the last couple months since your hiatus on Duck Insider.
It's more of a shun, but that's fine.
Gosh, I've told you can just come in anytime
Keep going.
you want.
Keep talking. You're fine.
Yep. Anyway, there was a wager last year that just sort of happened naturally on the show. Discussing if a certain season ticket record was broken, what would Coach Ulmer do? Well, I suggested like the temporary dye, make your hair green.
You want to do something to my hair.
I thought that would be funny. It'd be great. People would get a kick out of it.
You don't ruin a Picasso. You know what I mean? We can do other things.
Right.
We can do other things.
So instead what we did is you very well –
thank you.
Very well. Sang the national anthem on senior night.
I was a little sick, too.
I was going to say, you fought through some adversity.
Yeah.
You played hurt.
I did.
You played hurt.
I did.
You dropped an octave midway through, and it was no.
I was like,
it was good.
I'm not doing this.
It was good.
Thanks,
and your entire team, fans thought it was great.
Good.
So what are we doing this year? If you break the season ticket record heading into the first year in the Big Ten, what are you going to do?
Come up with something.
Oh.
Leave my hair alone.
It washes out, Matt.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You'll do it. Wait, I need you to say it. I will spray hair dye in my hair if the season ticket record gets broken.
That's what I'll do.
Will you do it for a match?
You don't want me to do that.
Will you do it for an appearance on Duck Insider?
That I will do.
And for a social video thanking the fans for breaking the season ticket record?
I can do that.
All right. Matt Ulmer will dye his hair when that season ticket record is broken.
Let's blow it up.
Yeah. I love that.
Let's blow that up.
Thank you. Did you know?
Thank you.
Well, do you have any other suggestions? Because I know the hair is sacred to you.
Once the video's off, then Joey and I can really discuss things.
You can't dye my hair. But I appreciate that you.
Maybe if fans have suggestions,
you know what?
Maybe that's what we need. We need options.
So we're recording.
We need
it's
options.
Not live.
That's a spitball. It was a spitball. It's a nice idea.
Yeah, spitball. Yeah. It's an option.
We could do that. Sure.
Something that Coach Ulmer could do that would entice you to
maybe I could sing the national anthem, but maybe I could get some of the players to join me.
Oh, this is interesting.
Maybe we could get a little group action.
This is interesting.
What do you think?
How are they?
There's some singers.
Okay.
So maybe we could expand it.
Okay. An a cappella group, maybe.
Perhaps.
An Oregon Volleyball a cappella group. Who's to know? Okay.
There's ideas. There's things.
So let's, I guess, we'll back up, but we have one good suggestion on the table from me that
was a suggestion.
Coach really doesn't want.
A suggestion.
How would your family feel about the dyed hair? Would they be freaked out?
My kids, well, my two little ones would probably be really scared.
Right.
Because anytime I dress up for Halloween, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
The older kids would think it's hilarious.
Right.
And then my wife would not talk to me until it's out, probably. Or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Or I'd probably need her help to get it out. She'd be annoyed because then it would make a mess.
Right.
That's probably more likely.
Well, we do it outside. We just hose you off.
Okay. Then she'd be fine with it.
Then she'd be fine with it.
Then she's good.
Yeah. Speaking of family, final chance to give me some advice on being a dad of two.
You're doing a great job.
What do I do? What's different?
Whatever
when there's
your wife wants.
Right. What else?
Have we not gone over this?
We have. What else now?
It's not about you.
Advice for being dad of two.
Don't lose the other one.
Good. Great.
Make sure you keep them both alive.
All right. I can do that.
I really do think that's the key with the young kids is keeping them alive until they get older.
And then
they can start to do some things on their own.
Right.
But in the beginning, they need you to keep them alive.
Great. Good to
There's
know.
4 Pac-12 teams in the Final Four for golf.
There are.
It's
on the TV right now.
That is wild.
Man, you are multitasking. Coaching is multitasking.
I'm carrying this conversation and that.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my God.
Lastly, Big Ten. You talk about Pac-12. Big Ten. A couple fans have asked, any news on schedule, anything that's changing for your team, just anything that fans should know.
Yeah, I think so. For scheduling for us, well, one, we've got our non-conference that should be out soon.
Okay.
So that's exciting. There's some great matches in that we'll hit up next year.
That's
Probably
right.
We'll talk about that whenever you bring me on again.
Well,
a year from now.
Duck Insider goes on a break after the track and field
that's
championships.
Right. I know. Yeah.
I take a few weeks off.
Well deserved, by the way.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
And we have an idea of who's coming to us and where we're going.
Right.
And then, so we were just waiting for footballs because then Big Ten does a great job for women's volleyball of getting the right audiences, the right times, the right, the matchups. And I appreciate that. I'm excited about that. So what it means is it takes a little bit longer to put it together. But they said right after Memorial Day, so we're getting close.
We're close.
So hopefully just another week or two.
Great.
And then we'll have an idea of what we're doing.
And then non-conference, still scheduling up. I know you, right? You'll still schedule up.
Yeah, I tried to keep us closer, but still try to find good matchups for us.
He's Matt Ulmer. He's the Oregon Volleyball head coach, and we sure appreciate you taking the time.
Good luck to your wife.
Thanks.
Don't screw it up. Remember, don't say anything
that you wouldn't say.
Don't say anything. It's going to be on camera. It's going to be a moment forever. Like, don't crack a joke.
Right.
Don't crack a joke.
You told me that last time.
And?
Didn't crack a joke.
That was good.
That was the first one.
Don't do it again.
Okay. Matt Ulmer, the Oregon Volleyball head coach, alumni in town, banquet this week. Coach, thanks for taking the time. We sure appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Man, I just love Matt Ulmer. I mean, he's a really, really great dude. And he mentioned the hair. I mean, dyeing the hair if they break the season ticket holder. He's got to do it.
No, he will.
Jerry, what colors with an S would you recommend? Because I think you can't just do one color. Like, you can't just have him go blonde. You have to have something funky, right?
No, it would be like a streak of green, white in the middle, and then yellow on the other side.
Ooh,
yeah.
Green, white, yellow.
Kind of looked like a skunk.
I don't know. What if you did like a yellow on the sides and then a green stripe with like white down the middle, kind of like a football helmet? You could get the UOs on both sides. You know, there's so much creativity that you can have when dyeing your hair. I really, really hope it happens. I'm looking forward to seeing what colors, with an S, hopefully he decides to do. The other thing that Matt Ulmer mentioned was the results for women's golf. The NCAA championship. 4 Pac-12 teams were in it. Oregon was one of them. They upsetted Auburn to advance. I believe, actually, they beat LSU to advance to the Final Four. They couldn't get it out of the Final Four, losing to UCLA. But good news earlier today, Kiara Romero, just the second Duck ever to be named to a WGCA first-team All-American. She's just a freshman. I mean, she has had a phenomenal year. Congratulations to her, and looking forward to potentially next season an Oregon Duck uniform for her. Final timeout, and when we come back, we'll talk some track and field here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Adopt U.S. Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What a fun Friday show this has been. We talked some Oregon baseball at the start. 3 segments of Matt Ulmer with Joey Mack. A lot of good advice for Joey. Again, congratulations, Joey and Lizzie.
Yes.
Baby number 2, finally here. Congratulations to you both. Jerry and I holding down the fort once again, not only today, but all of next week as well. 4 shows again. No show on Monday. It's going to be a holiday, so no show on Monday. Looking forward to a day off. But going back now to what's happening this weekend, and one of the big things that's happening, track and field. And how about Jada Ross? Became the first collegiate woman to finish with a throw over 20 meters in the shot put. She broke her own collegiate record in the shot put, is now 7th woman beyond 20 meters in American history with Thursday's performance at the West Preliminary at the John McDonald Field at Fayetteville, Arkansas. In the qualifying efforts, she and Shelby Moran both advanced to the NCAA Championships, which is going to be held back here at home, Hayward Field, coming up really, really soon. Day 2 of the meet also saw the UO women send 8 into Saturday's quarterfinal heats, including additionally UO sophomore Emily Fitzsimmons, who became number 4 in program history in the pole vault with a clearance of 4.20. Fitzsimmons had the best clearance by a UO woman since 2011. Really, really long time, so congratulations to her. And so, the track and field NCAA West Preliminaries continue on. It's happening all day today. It's going to be on ESPN+, and then it's also going to happen tomorrow again. Day 3 today is going to be the men's, and the updated schedule, 1:45, so just about maybe 10 minutes ago, 4x100 for the men's, and then 2 o'clock, 1,500, 225 is going to be the steeplechase, and then 320, the 100 meters, 350, 800 meters, 455, 5,000 meters, and then the top 12 will advance to the NCAAs at Hayward Field coming up. Overall, though, really exciting stuff for track and field. The women's team this year, really, really awesome. Number 3 in the country. It's been a great year for them, and Jada Ross as well. Southern Oregon roots, just like you.
Yeah, she's a Medford, actually North Medford Senior High School, a Black Tornado, and so it's really exciting when I feel like one of my own kids from down there shows up. We have quite a number of Oregonians on football, basketball. I mean, you look across all the teams, the state of Oregon is well represented.
Oh, absolutely. And track and field specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Not this year, but the past 2 years I've gotten to broadcast the OSAA track and field championships at Hayward Field, and it's so awesome to see the support in the state for track and field. I know for myself, like coming from a small Central California town, the track and field was a thing, but like out here, like people love track and field, and it's so cool to see it. I mean, it is Tracktown USA for a reason, and having the NCAA championships coming here, it's going to be an exciting time for track and field fans in the state.
It's so different because I was actually a 330-yarder. Now it's the 400 meters back in the day out of Grants Pass High School. And I was good enough to maybe make the state meet, but I got mono my senior year.
Oh, man.
And I missed it. But I did get to run in an earlier season meet on what was then a cinder track at Hayward Field.
Wow.
Back in the day. So some great memories there leading all the way up to now, Olympic trials and all that. And June 5th through the 8th for the NCAAs here, which should be the permanent home for the NCAA championships in track and field.
Wow. So you ran at ran at Hayward Field?
I ran at Hayward Field, yeah.
Wow.
It was.
What was that experience like?
Oh, it's a great memory now, particularly working here at Oregon and seeing where they have come to and how far they've come and how much it's changed, and then realizing all the great athletes, the superstars that ran at Hayward Field after I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you paved the path.
I paved the path.
Absolutely. What a fun Friday show it's been. Oregon baseball. Matt Ulmer with Joey Mack, and then we wrapped it up with track and field again. Track and field championships coming to Hayward Field. Get your tickets. And as always, we'll see you next week, and go Ducks.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started